Hi, welcome to You and Your Health. I'm your host, David Bertone. It's been several months since our last TV show. The reason for this is quite simple. I decided to open a solo physical therapy practice in Lincroft. So now that the practice is open and running and seeing patients, it's time to restart our monthly series on health-related topics. Today's topic is athletic performance and how to enhance athletic performance through some unique training methods. We're on location today at the training studio of Mike Hanley. Mike is a certified personal trainer, certified kettlebell instructor, and certified weightlifting coach. Mike, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Dave. It's great to be here.
Tell us a little bit about your background and how you got involved in this industry.
Great. I got involved from an early age. I started training people, started working at health clubs while I was in college. I went to school for physical education, and from there I just started training people full-time. You know, as far as getting into weightlifting and training, it was probably 12, 13, 14 years old that I started to weightlift, you know, in my father's garage. My father was the first person that taught me how to work out. And then going into high school, playing, you know, numerous sports and playing football in high school, we, you know, had a really good weightlifting program in high school.
Great. Now, we're going to talk today about some unique training concepts to improve performance. Now, some people can go to a large gym and see a personal trainer, but your studio here is kind of unique compared to most studios. What types of training concepts do you usually do when you're working with, say, an athlete, a high school athlete? What are some of the things that you would focus on and the reasons why you would do those things?
Okay, well, first we determine, you know, as far as the age is a big concern. We have some athletes as young as 10 years old. Are they going to lift weights? Absolutely not. So it really depends on the age of the athlete. Our philosophy with training athletes is safety first, and I think that you cannot stress enough. But the difference between us and your typical health club and commercial gym is that we're going to use some things, you know, that are out there now that are going to stress your body in a number of chaotic ways. Chaos is probably the number one factor in any sport. Your body is moving in all kinds of planes and directions. So when you train, you need to train your body to be able to handle stresses in all kind of, you know, planes and directions. So that's a huge factor in our training. I don't think that you can get that sitting on a machine or doing your basic one-plane movements.
Okay, so some of the older philosophies for athletic training would be you go down into the weight room, you squat, you bench press, you do certain things. But now the research has kind of shown that there's a lot more things. Now this chaos term is something new. Most people think about kind of functional training or multi-plane training. Is that what you're talking about here?
Absolutely. Functional is a huge term in the fitness industry. But what is functional? There's a number of different things that are functional. So, of course, our staple exercises are squats, deadlifts, bench press, and whatnot. But as far as high school athletes, you know, if the athlete can't perform a push-up, there's no way that we're putting them on a bench press or whatnot. So as far as functional is concerned, you know, functional can be a number of different things. And I think we like the word chaotic a little bit better because it, you know, it stresses that, hey, your body's going to move in a million different ways while you're on the field. So we want you to be as strong as you can in a million different ways. And some of the training techniques and some of the training tools that we use here do that directly, and it applies it transfers very well onto the field.
Well, we're gonna demonstrate some of those techniques later in the show, but let's talk about when you see a client for the first time. What are some of the things that you do initially with them and to help design a program?
Okay, the first thing that we do is assess the client or the athlete. We want to make sure that their body is moving in functional ways. A lot of athletes, especially if, say, an athlete comes in, say a high school athlete comes in and he's had a huge growth spurt. What happens is their muscles get very tight. Their bones grow and their muscles get extremely tight, and therefore they're very imbalanced. So our assessment's going to determine how flexible they are, how imbalanced their muscles are, and so what we're going to do is we're going to put them through a number of different tests to see how flexible their shoulder joint is, how flexible their thoracic spine. We want mobility in your thoracic spine, how much they can stabilize themselves, whether it be on one leg, two legs, with something in one arm, two arms. So there's a number of different tests that we do to determine their start or their beginning program. So that's pretty much how we do it.
All right. So once the person comes, and then I guess after you do this assessment, you'll sit down and put together some goals for the client, right? What they want to get out of it. And you mentioned the word stretching. Obviously, that's a big thing in my field as a physical therapist. I see lots of people that have bad flexibility. And is that something you focus on? Do you teach people how to do that themselves, or do you do it for them? How do you utilize the stretching approach?
Okay, we actually teach them a number of different ways to stretch, and we also manually stretch them if needed. So some of the athletes that come in and some of the clients that come in need to be stretched because they can't get themselves to move in certain positions. So, I will manually stretch someone and put them through ranges of motion and, do some types of stretches. What everybody does here, what every client, if they don't need to be manually stretched, we use a tool called the foam roller, okay? And what it is it gives you some myofascial release. A lot of times people come in with a lot of knots in their fascia, which is like the surface of the muscle, and so we want to break up that knotty area before we stretch it. If we stretch a knot, it's not going to get loose, so we want to break it up first. And so we'll do foam rollers, we'll do dynamic flexibility, dynamic stretching, and we'll also do some static stretching. A couple different types of stretches.
So then you'll get into some of the training programs, and again, we'll demonstrate some of this stuff, but with some of the unique terms that are out there, things like plyometrics and the kettlebells, which you're going to demonstrate later on. Tell me how you incorporate the term plyometrics or the jump training programs into your athletic performance enhancement programs.
Okay. Jump training is a great tool to teach a athlete how to become explosive. So we need athletes need to be fast on the field, and that's the bottom line. And do they need to be strong like bodybuilders? Absolutely not. So we don't train them that way. We need to train them to be explosive, quick off their feet. There's a number of different ways that you can do jump training. And you mentioned the kettlebells, and the kettlebells actually have plyometric capabilities to them. Okay, so what we want to do is we're going to show you how the kettlebells involve so much explosive power to even just handle a basic kettlebell exercise that there's no doubt that you're going to get some explosive strength from using the kettlebells.
Can you tell us some of the background to the kettlebell training? I know over the past several years it's gotten a little bit more popular in this area. Where did it originate from, and then why did it get so popular?
Originally, it came from Russia. A lot of the Russian training was done with kettlebells, and I think it goes back as far as the 1800s. That's one of the first things that were used back then. And a guy by the name of Pavel Tsatsouline is the one that, kind of brought it into the country and brought it kind of mainstream. He's from Russia. He came over and he was working, I think, out in California somewhere, and a guy had spotted him doing some stuff and working with some people, and I think the guy was a publisher, so they kind of created a company called Dragon Door, and they have a website and they sell the kettlebells and whatnot. But they're the originators, and they brought it into, and that's where we are certified from. I go out once a year and help Pavel teach his certification to new people trying to get certified to teach it. So that's a great experience for us. We get to see all the new things going on with the kettlebells, and we get to see people from now overseas. There's instructors, in all kinds of different areas, and a lot of people are doing a lot of new things with them. So it's a great experience to go out and help teach it and show people what's going on with it. And so that's kind of where it originated from.
Now, obviously, you can use these kettlebells with everyday people, not just athletes. So you'll get clients in here that are housewives or business people, and they want to use different training techniques than just straightforward training. So I would assume that would be an area that people would be intrigued to find out more about, to come to your studio, because it is kind of unique.
Absolutely. Well, we offer it. We offer the kettlebell training to everybody. And the great thing about kettlebell training, not only are you going to get strong from it, and we're talking about athletes and explosive power, it builds your work capacity, your aerobic and anaerobic work capacity like nothing I've ever seen. People that come in and, they're marathon runners. I have a couple marathon runners, and I have people that are, really big into the cardio. I could give them 5 minutes of a basic kettlebell swing, and their heart is, jumping out of their chest. So it's got a lot of different components to it, and you could get a great workout in a short amount of time. Our workouts are very, very short and very intense, but that's what you want. You don't want to be in the gym all day. You don't want to be, running for hours. And everybody has, busy schedules. So we want to get people in. We want them to work out real hard, real intense, and get out and go on with their life.
Okay, so far we've heard about the concepts of training and improving athletic performance. After the break, we're going to come back and demonstrate some of these techniques with Mike Hanley and some of his associates, and how they could better improve either your athletic performance or your overall health and well-being.
To learn more, visit drugfree.org.
Welcome back to You and Your Health. I'm your host, David Bertone. We're on location at the training studio in Morganville, New Jersey, with our guest, Mike Hanley. On our first half of the show, we talked about some of the concepts of improving athletic performance. Now we're going to demonstrate some of those concepts and start off with a demonstration of plyometrics. Mike, tell us a little bit about what we're going to see here, and we're going to meet Brian Bott, who's going to demonstrate some of the techniques that we're going to talk about.
Okay. What we're doing here is a box jump, okay? This is a very basic plyometric. The reason we use a box instead of jumping on the ground is because we want to decrease the load, okay, on the body on the landing. So what we're going to do, what Brian's going to do, Brian Bott is one of our trainers here. He's going to show us a two-legged box squat first. And the key to a box squat is to land softly. We're trying to explode as fast as we can, and we're trying to land on the box as soft as we can. Okay, so Brian's going to show us that. Good. Let's get one more.
So we're looking at explosive power to be able to get up to that height. Now, somebody that doesn't have his capabilities, you may start smaller, I would assume, right?
Absolutely.
Or then somebody that's very advanced, you have bigger boxes to make them jump up to.
Absolutely.
How would you make this more dynamic for somebody that wants to improve?
You could do a number of different things as far as dynamic. You can make this a one-legged box jump, okay? So for athletes, for high school athletes and whatnot, any athlete really, they need to learn how to use one leg at a time. Unilateral training is extremely important. So to make this a little bit more advanced before we move the box up in height, we may do 1 week, we may do two-legged box jumps to a higher box. The next week we may come back and do a one-legged box jump to a lower box. So Brian will show us a one-legged box jump right now.
And how many repetitions would you do something like this? Would you do it for a minute at a time? Would you do 10? How would you progress this kind of program?
Okay, so plyometric training should always be done in the beginning of your training program when your body is at its freshest, when it's has its most energy. It's extremely important to do plyometrics in the beginning, and we don't do any more than 25, 30 jumps in a training session. Even for our advanced athletes, we would never go over 30 jumps. So we wouldn't do sets of 10. We would probably keep it at the highest amount of reps in a set is 5. So we may do 5 sets of 5 jumps in each set, and we'll take some time in between each.
And obviously you have to look at, if somebody's having discomfort or a knee pain or something like that, you need to modify this activity. I could see that being very beneficial for high jumpers, sprinters, even linemen, to improve their explosive ability right on the football field.
Absolutely.
Okay, we're going to demonstrate some other techniques, including the kettlebells and some dynamic activities next. Now we're going to demonstrate some of the unique training principles using the kettlebells. To demonstrate now is Juliet Dean. Juliet is one of the instructors here at the training studio. So Juliet, show us some of the techniques that you do with the kettlebells. And Mike, you can explain what she's doing as we're...
No problem. So this is our basic kettlebell swing. What Juliet is doing is, it may look like she's using her arms, but she's really using her hips to explode that kettlebell, okay, up into the air. Okay, what we're getting here is we're getting hip extension, okay, and she's going to show you from a side view. We're getting hip extension, knee extension, okay, very similar to, we don't have the triple knee extension that a Olympic lift would have, but we're getting a knee extension, a hip extension. She's keeping her back super flat, okay, and just popping her hips. So very explosive muscles, the posterior chain. It's extremely important to build a posterior chain for athletes.
So you're talking the back of their legs, their gluteal muscles, their back muscles.
Posterior chain is the hamstrings, glutes, and low back.
What kind of weight are we talking about here that she's using?
Okay, this is a 16 kilogram. Kettlebells come in kilograms, and so this is a 35-pound kettlebell. The great part about kettlebells also is the grip on it. The grip is a lot thicker than a normal dumbbell grip, so you're also getting the advantage of strengthening your grip while you do this, which is very important for athletes.
So let's see some other techniques or other uses of the kettlebells for training.
Okay. So Juliet did two-handed swings. She also did one-handed swings. Brian's going to show us how you would put the swing and build it into a clean and press. Okay, this is an old Olympic exercise. Okay, and he's doing a swing. He's going to clean it and press it. Okay. Notice Brian's doing it with one arm. Okay, so again, we have the unilateral training, okay, which is going to definitely build up your core, okay. And,
it's a little bit more functional when you talk one hand versus two, right, because it's more real world.
Absolutely. You're always using one hand. You're always on one foot on the field, even outside, even with housewives and whatnot. When they have the children, they're using this hand to do something. They're holding this. They're holding one child with one hand, and they're doing things with the other hand. So we definitely do a lot of unilateral training here.
Is there another exercise that we can demonstrate at this time?
So we did a press, right? He did a swing, clean, and press. Brian's gonna grab 2 kettlebells. We're gonna do a renegade row. It's called. You have your normal one arm row or a dumbbell row. Okay, turn to the side. Yeah, do them that way. Okay, so what Brian's going to do, he's going to go into a push-up position. Okay, he's going to stabilize himself, okay, with his glutes and his core and his abdominals, okay? And he's gonna row one kettlebell at a time, okay? He's keeping his body straight as a board, okay? And this is a very advanced exercise that we build all our clients up to doing, okay? You notice, okay, if you don't stabilize yourself, you're gonna fall, you're gonna tip the kettlebells, okay? So this is a great, great exercise for your whole body.
Okay, so you're seeing some unique training principles utilizing the kettlebells. We're going to move on to some other dynamic activities that are used here at the training studio. Now we're going to demonstrate something very dynamic and creative here at the training studio. Mike Hanley's going to demonstrate what he calls ropes gone wild. Go ahead, Mike, show us what this does for you. Now, while he's doing this, he's really got to contract all the muscles in his body and also gets his heart pumping very hard. So Mike says he uses this for a lot of the younger kids as well as the advanced athletes.
Yeah, I mean, it's great for your work capacity. Again, a grip exercise for the athletes. And it keeps the young kids, we have some younger kids, like I said earlier, 10, 11, 12 years old. It gets them conditioning, you know, without using weights. That's the, you know, the real important thing for the young kids.
It makes it fun for them.
Right.
All right, demonstrate a little more and then bring in Juliet here to show how we do two people.
And then we'll show you how we use two. You guys can both come in.
Two people at the same time demonstrating some techniques with the rope gone wild.
We'll do it for time. So we're going to do about 30 seconds. Go ahead. As fast as you can, 30 seconds.
Now you can imagine this really works your cardiovascular system pretty hard.
Brian's blood pressure's going up. Good, relax. So that's about 20 seconds.
Now we're moving on to some more creative concepts here at the training studio. Brian's going to demonstrate the use of chains and very heavy chains to do some usually normal deadlifts, but it makes it a lot more creative by adding chains. Tell us what's happening here, Mike.
Okay, what this is the chains create a accommodating resistance. What that means is as Brian lifts the bar, the weight becomes heavier as he comes higher, okay? So what it teaches us is how to continue through the entire range of motion, okay? The other thing is it creates an unstable environment. Each chain weighs about 20 pounds, so you can tell if we put 5, 6 chains on, that's an extra 120 pounds of weight added to the bar.
Okay, and you can use this for, is this for more of the advanced athlete, or you can do this lighter for some of the newer clients?
Yeah, we don't usually use the chains for newer clients. You know, our main concern for new clients is to get them healthy, get them strong with basic exercise. This is a much more advanced application, you know, geared towards an advanced athlete that's trying to break through some plateaus.
So you'll get a normal athlete doing straight deadlifts and may plateau. This will help kind of go over that and get them stronger.
Absolutely. He may have a problem with the top end of the lift. This will help him get stronger at the top end, or, you know, and be able to handle more weight at the top end.
Show us what else you can do with these chains. How creative can we get here?
Yeah, we're going to show you a push-up real quick. I'm just going to set these chains up.
Okay. So Mike is going to demonstrate how using these chains can help Brian's resistance in just doing a straight push-up. Now you think, well, maybe you could just put some weights on the back, but these chains act as a more dynamic resistance and will make Brian work really hard to do a normal push-up.
And what we can do is we'll do a drop set. This is a much safer exercise for an athlete, a young athlete, instead of the bench press. What I'm going to do is I'm going to have him do 5, and then I'm going to start stripping the weight.
Okay, so as it gets harder for Brian, Mike's going to make it a little bit easier. So again, this is something you're not going to see at the typical health club. this is how you can get an athlete stronger in a safer, faster manner.
Thanks, Brian.
Okay, we're back after demonstrating some of the advanced training techniques at the training studio. Mike, explain to us how you can utilize some of these concepts, not just with the advanced athlete, but how would you incorporate it into for the average client that would come in and would want to do some of this stuff?
We work them very slow. Like we said earlier, we assess them and make sure that they're in, a good enough shape to use some of these more advanced exercises. So, a lot of the stuff that we showed you today are applicable to anybody, but there's a process to get there. So, a lot of the exercises, we do a lot of basic exercises as well, but we build people up to getting strong enough to do these things. We want you guys to be as strong as possible. We want everybody to be as strong as possible, men, women, children. It's about health, and it's about being, stronger individual. So that's some of our goals here, and we have a lot of fun with our clients. A lot of our clients feel like kids again. A lot of the older clients feel like kids again, and that's a good thing. We want them to feel healthy and young.
And some people, I assume, work out together or in groups, which make it a lot more fun as well. Could you do that with the kids as well?
Absolutely. All our teen groups and our young athletes programs are group training. We also have semi-private and private training for adults. So you could be working out in a group of 2 to 3 people as an adult, or you could work out privately one-on-one. A lot of times when people come in, we start them off privately to make sure that they're doing everything right, and then we start to integrate them into doing things. But it's a great atmosphere. We have a lot of people that, jump in with each other, and they have a lot of fun and that kind of stuff.
Wonderful. Well, Mike, thanks for joining us today. We appreciate it.
Thanks for having us.
Again, you witnessed improving athletic performance today on You and Your Health, and hope you enjoyed the show. And we'll see you next time, where we discuss even more techniques and concepts to improve your overall health and well-being.